Hello once again, welcome to Prague and the PokerStars European Poker Tour. It is the last day of the festival. That means it's the last day of the main event. That means it's the final table of the main event here at King's Casino at the Hilton Prague. That means today we present the winner's trophy and award a first prize of more than €1 million. The players are on the stage, photographs being taken, getting ready to get cards in the air. I am James Hartigan, alongside me Joe Stapleton.
Hello, my babies.
And Nick Walsh.
I am so excited. Let's do this.
These are the players who've made the final table and their respective stacks. It is Gab-Yong Kim, who bubbled the final table of this event the last time it was played, who comes in as chip leader with a 79 big blind stack. Two Italians at this FT, Andrea Cortellazzi and Dmytro Kamenita. The last remaining Stars qualifier is Grzegorz Gluvny from Poland. And then we've got Simeon Alexandridis from Greece and Armin Rezai representing Austria. No short stacks. The shortest stack is 31 bigs, and you can still do a lot of damage, Nick, with 31 big blinds.
Yeah, absolutely. At this stage, every decision is going to be so crucial. We're going to see so many decisions that are going to be guided by that ever-present ICM final table information. And in this scenario, it's only $1 million. There's only $1 million up top, so that ICM pressure is going to be leaning on them even more heavily than ever.
So we will be restarting the action at the 61-20 blind level, and worth recapping what they are playing for. We are into the huge prize money now. We are paying six-figure scores, at least six figures to every player, 181K for whoever goes out next. The usual jumps with every elimination, echoing the ICM sentiment that Nick just mentioned. And of course, we've referenced it a few times, seven figures up top, more than $1 million, plus that trophy. Another main event champ will be crowned today here in Prague.
Here's a pretty hand.
Ace 10 of clubs for Rezai.
Cool, they let him wear his mask around his chin for the photo.
So slightly above the min.
Kamenita 9-5, folds the button. Rounds the big blind, Gab-Yong Kim. And he's going to defend with ace-3.
Now this is a situation where domination can come into play.
Yeah, as Joe was musing earlier, we had a scenario where King 6 was dominating 5-6, but these are the kinds of domination hands where I think you see the most bloodshed, just because when you do make top pair, for example, ace 6-5, you are compelled to continue much more so than a hand like 6-5 where you're going to get barreled off, or you're just not going to connect in a way which means you're going to come along that often on the flop at all. And this is a nightmare for Kim, it really is. When you're playing against good players, having top pair is just monstrous. And in a situation where Kim's hand, I don't want to say it's under reps, but you know, his opponent's going to have more ace X that they can rep. His opponents are going to rep the ace very aggressively, and he needs to be sticky. Otherwise, he's going to be exploited by players that can recognize they can get some sixes to fold, some fives to fold, some straight draws to fold. So his opponent is going to barrel here, especially on the queen turn. The queen of hearts is a very, very good candidate to continue barreling. It represents another overcard to the 6 or the 5, and it's just a really, really good card for them to want to put in some more chips to try and get folds from those hands we just described. And it's Kim's job to continue here pretty much every single time. If you're folding this turn, you're just going to get run over by good players way too often who are just going to have all kinds of stuff, especially when you consider hands like Jack 10 might be in there. Especially a hand like Jack 10 of hearts, for example, that's going to want to barrel here a lot. They can represent the ace. They can represent the queen. And, of course, it gives them some additional equity as well. And when we improve our equity, we can semi-bluff much more effectively.
700,000, the second barrel from Rezai. Kim still with top pair. Kicker problems, but he don't know it.
Yeah, he's gonna.
He has a suspicion, though.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think Kim's good enough to recognize that, especially given the early-ish raise here, right? It's from a relatively early position here that he should have a little bit more ace-x. If this was a raise from the cutoff of the button right now, it's basically absurd for him to ever consider getting away. But with this particular dynamic, I think it's okay for him to consider that he might be outkicked.
If I was playing on a live stream and somebody raised, now granted, we're shorthanded, but if somebody raised from early position, even shorthanded, and I folded ace-3, would everyone laugh at me? Yeah, it's okay. You can say yeah.
I actually don't know, honestly. 2 checks.
A little cry of pain from Gab-Yong Kim as he loses more than $1 million from his stack. And Armin Rezai rakes in that pot. So it is Grzegorz Gluvny with ace-king of diamonds. And he is raising from the cutoff. 325,000. Gab-Yong Kim has ace-jack and flats. Cortolazzi folds 8-5 suited in the small. Round 2, Armin Rezai in the big, who's got ace-queen.
Oh, dear.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
The ultimate squeeze from Rezai, moving all in for just shy of 5 million. And what a decision for Gluvny to call off most of his stack with ace-king, knowing that there's still a player to act behind.
Yeah, absolutely, James. I mean, what is Rezai supposed to do in this scenario? The fact that Kim played his hand passively pre means that he's just going to win this an insane amount of the time as a pre-flop shove. I don't think there's any chance that Gluvny can get away from his hand, but you know, as you say, it's still so many chips and it's so meaningful at this stage in the tournament. 60K pay jump next.
I mean, we know that should Gluvny call here, Kim will snap fold and it'll be a domination situation in Gluvny's favor.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, he has called. Kim's folded on their backs, and Rezai is at risk and way behind. And look at the pot total. This is the biggest pot of the tournament so far. 10.5 million. And 66% of the time it'll be going to this guy, and he'll be on new chip leader. And we will lose Armin Rezai in 6th place.
Yeah, I think especially given the fact that it was a squeezed pot, James, I just don't see how ace-king could ever get away from this.
The flop. Is coming. 4-4 deuce, no hearts. Of course, with a paired board, opportunities emerge.
They absolutely do. Wow, can you imagine what's going through their minds right now, James? Oh.
4 on the turn. 11% chance of a chop, but still an 81% chance that we will lose Armin Rezai in 6th place. The river is a 10, and he is the first player out from the final table. Armin Rezai cashing for just shy of 182,000 euros. And as we go 5-handed, there is a new chip leader. It is the last remaining qualifier. Grzegorz Gluvny from Poland is now playing more than 11 million.
Wow, what a moment. Glovney has been playing such excellent poker. You know, there are definitely situations on final tables where it's not completely out of the question to fold ace-king suited and the like. But I don't think that was one of them. Given the fact that it was a squeezed pot, I mean, your opponent can just have such a wider range.
I really don't know why not to do it.
You need to have a hard here.
And you had a card, of course. But he's never
Yesterday,
super strong,
there was the running joke
super
about the
strong
number of
player.
times that Gabion Kim was dealt pocket queens.
Yeah.
Kim of Queens was the nickname that Griffin afforded him.
No.
King Jack
Cannot
seems to be the
file,
hand he's been dealt
let's say,
many times today.
or aces.
Not quite the excitement that you see
Good call.
when you see King Jack as when you looked at a
No,
pocket queens.
I would agree.
Yeah, not quite. But a little bit more excited about King Jack off when you are the chip leader.
Ja, er weiß, ja.
What is?
325.
So Kim raised 325,000. Caminita has defended with a worse king, King 9, and the flop is Jack 5-5 to all Kim.
Check.
286. 216.
Ooh.
286.
Huh.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Oh wow, this is really, really not nice.
This is one of those situations where you check the flop, the king peels off in the turn, you're like, I'm the greatest poker player in the entire world.
Action going pretty quick here. The pot's already up to 1.2 million. Caminita's got to feel like he's got a value bet in this scenario. What does want to slow down though? I take it back. Kim like, okay, I guess I'm getting called by a king here, so I should probably go huge.
700.
I love this size, guys. I really do. I mean, if you're going to get paid, you're getting paid, right? So you might as well go big. If Caminita's folding a king here, it's just going to be such a sensational fold.
You don't think there's any shot that in the big blind your opponent is slow playing a 5?
That is definitely a possibility, absolutely. And the big blind is one of the positions where that is likely to be a thing, but he does make the call.
And that means we are now going to have a short stack
Dirty.
at this 5-handed final table. Caminita dropping below the 20 big blind mark.
Dirty guy.
Did he say dirty guy?
Yeah, super.
I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt that he said dirty
Super.
guy.
Yeah, that is a very, very favorable run out for Kim here, especially given the fact he slowed down flop.
8-6 of diamonds for the short stack. Dimitrio Caminita in the small blind.
Now, you remember what I was saying about those push-fold charts. This could be a shove. 8-6 suited is one of the hands that, surprisingly,
Yeah,
yep, I called it.
he announces all in. He's presented with the triangle. Snap called by Glovney, who's got pocket fives. And this is not a classic race, but it is nonetheless a race.
A race. Nick called it, and so did Glovney.
Ze small blinda wsunął short stack. On ma 8-6 suited, ja piątki. Fake flip, let's go. 5 of clubs.
Did he say fake flip? Let's go.
Yeah, I think at these effective stack depth, 8-6 suited really is a fist pump shove. Even if you're going to make some adjustments and be a little bit tighter, blind v blind, you're just going to win so often here. Hands like 8-6 suited perform so well against some of the big hands that actually do like calling in these scenarios. You're going to have tons of equity against ace-king. You're going to crack aces quite often.
Caminita at risk and does not connect with the flop in any meaningful way, just a single diamond. %71% chance we lose Caminita in 5th place. No diamond draw, needs an 8 or a 6 on the river, just 5 outs remaining. And fives hold, and we lose another player. Another player eliminated by chip leader Grzegorz Główny, and it is Dmytro Kamenita from Sicily who cashes out for 245,870 euros, leaving us with the final four.
Wow. Alex Andrade's feeling real smug right now about the deal being shot down. He's like, all right, cool, let's play. Ace, queen, raise.
Yeah. If anybody's going to be defending their big blind, it's going to be one of the biggest stacks of the table here. Kim does come along with 8-6, and look at this flop with the 6 of clubs blocker in his hand as well.
Again, not that dissimilar from flopping the flush draw before.
Oh, I really like if Kim leads this turn. He decides to check instead, though. The king, obviously, a little bit of a scare card.
Yeah.
You know, your opponents are going to check black back. Plenty of king X on this flop.
That's 275,000.
Ooh, it's small, though. He went really small with the bet on this turn.
275.
Just a little bit over a quarter pot sizing. I don't think there's really any way for Kim to get away. I don't think it would be unreasonable for him to call here and then rep the clubs on the river.
Any chance that, I know you said you would have liked to lead on the turn, Nick. Any chance he was setting up a check raise?
Potentially.
Yeah, I think maybe.
Potentially.
No, just a call.
He's got I think he's got too much of a good price here to try and check raise.
Right.
And that is just about as good as it gets right there.
Hits the straight on the river.
Sleazy game.
Leads for 500.
Yep.
Quick lead as well.
Alex Andrade does have the opportunity to turn his hand into bluff, though. He's blocking the queen 10. He's blocking the hearts.
Yeah, and if you're like a live reads player, I kind of feel like that snap bet there does not look super strong.
I would love if he raised here. That would be so cool.
Why do you hate Alex Andrade?
Oh, man, he just raised it up to 1.5 million. And now I guess Kim's got to be a little bit worried about the hearts.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the way the hand is played, I think the backdoor flush makes a lot of sense. Absolutely, or indeed queen 10.
I mean, look, this is a shrug call. Let's go. You're not happy about it. You can't fold a straight.
I do like the play, though. I really do, and I think it will work a lot of the time. I think when your opponent's rivered the straight, it's a lot tougher.
By the way, I'm being flippant. I don't have any issue whatsoever with Kim taking a minute here.
And hey, when you're playing some of the best in the world, you definitely are a little bit more confident to call with a hand like 8-6 here, right? Most players just won't even have a move here.
Yeah, your 7 p.m. nightly, you can maybe be like, okay, they're only going to have flushes here.
Yeah.
Or queen 10.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Which I guess is another hand to consider, right?
Yeah, I guess what I'm saying is, yeah, like Joe said, I obviously, we can obviously see the cards, but I just really appreciate the heart of this play.
Nice pawn. The fake heart.
He's played 2 time bank cards, makes a call, and wins a huge pot from Simeon Alexandridis, who now becomes the short stack at this 4-handed table.
Three-quarters.
9-9-4 on the flop. Ace high still ahead. Główny with the advantage of position.
Two-three check.
200K into a pot of over 800,000.
I mean, come on. You're not folding ace jack, my man. Come on. We're playing poker. I think on this kind of a texture, it's basically a 0% chance fold. So he's definitely going to come along for at least one street. Turn is such a nice turn for king queen. It's an interesting one too, because Cortellazzi's got to be aware that the king is a good card to continue barreling on if you're in Glovney's position. What if he slowed down as a trap, though? That's definitely a consideration.
Ooh.
I mean, there's plenty of... He can have plenty of hands that he bets flop with and then slows down on this turn, right? Like, he's going to continue with pretty much all of his range, really, on this flop. So the check...
It's pretty dry, right? So
Yeah. I mean, I think it represents a good card for him to continue barreling on as a bluff as well. So it's a little bit of a tricky one, right? Because he's going to... If he checks, he's saying he has a hand like 8-7 suited or something that he might have bet, and now he's got to give up. But as it continue, he's kind of saying, I can still have bluffs in this situation, so you should continue calling with your pair of fours or maybe some of your ace highs and stuff like that as well. It's quite a big size.
Time bank card being played by Cortellazzi. Gets an additional 30 seconds, courtesy of the ever hard-working Bernie the Lizard.
Drinking water, is that a tell, Joe?
It's a tell that he's thirsty.
I never touch the stuff.
All right, and sure enough.
So we are going to the river, and there's nearly 2.6 million in the pot.
I would be so mad if I got a call there.
The real question is, does Glovney put in a value bet on this river when his opponent certainly could still have some trips in here? Maybe even some boats?
Exactly.
Is Cortellazzi thinking about leading this river?
I would be thinking, all right, well, let's say I lead this river. What am I going to get to fold? I don't know, maybe tens?
Well, no, here I think Cortellazzi just knows. Well, okay, if he's calling the flop in the turn, I think he thinks that ace-jack is still the best hand. I don't think he needs to turn his hand into a bluff, but if anything, using some time here might convince a hand like king-queen to slow down, right?
Just check back?
Yeah, I mean, he's just trying to get to showdown. He called two streets thinking that ace-jack was the best of it because he's kind of under-repped his hand pre. Now, Glovney has this kind of weird spot where he's like, would he really not, bet the 9 on the river? Is he really going to give me the opportunity to slow down on the river?
Yeah.
So that probably leads him to believe that king-queen still is the best hand, so I think value is what he's going to try and go for here.
He's verbally announced 1.6 million. He pushes the chips across the line. And now Cortellazzi is thinking whether ace high is ahead.
Yeah, I mean, he convinced himself flop and turn.
Are you saying that tanking there is to just get a check back is something even the pros do?
I don't know if that was what
You're not saying, but you're saying it could have been.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
It's such a level game though, isn't it? Right? There's so many levels to that kind of thought process, right? Because then players that play at a good level will go.
Well, I assume that's a level 1 thought process because I've had it.
Well, no, exactly. But then he's going, would he really tank here if that was the Makes the fold. Good fold, buddy. Good fold.
But crucially, another pot for the chip leader. More chips for Grzegorz Gluvny, who's now playing close to 15 million.
And raise 325. Three plus.
Kim has opened under the gun with Queen 9. Gluvny's got 5-4 in the big, and there's not as much separating these two as there once was. 12 million for Gluvny at the start of the hand, 10 million for Kim. And it is an ace, queen, 5 board. So second pair for Kim, bottom pair for Gluvny. Kim quickly continues.
2 chips.
Yeah, I think you pretty much just got to come along here. I know it's not a great pair, and this board is that ace-queen high, but Kim knows that, and Gluvny knows that Kim knows that, and therefore he needs to continue. Otherwise, he's going to be exploited a little bit too often. He does actually pick up some additional outs on the turn here. Now he's got the wheel draw. He's 2, 3, 4, 5.
And he checks a second time. Kim bets a second time into a pot of nearly 1.3 million. Kim is going to make it 550,000.
Yep, you're expecting 2 barrels here a lot of the time, not just with value, but also with plenty of bluffs. I wouldn't say that Queen 9 off is a bluff by any stretch of the imagination. But I'm sure Kim is capable of doing this with hands like Jack 10. Even hands as weak as like 8-7 suited, that kind of thing. And another call. And the tray.
Boop.
Check to showdown. And that pot might just change the order of things. Yep, a
Interesting.
change in the chip lead.
Wow.
Gab Yong Kim started today with the biggest stack
Very interesting.
and is back in the #1 position after winning that hand against Grzegorz Gluvny.
Moose leg for Alexandritis. King 10.
6 dice, 325. 10 plus.
325,000. And a big blind defend from the chip leader with Jack 3.
Wow, Jack 3 off here, coming along. He's not scared. He is not sacred.
There's no sacred poker here.
And he's flopped a pair of 3s. Is this unfair analysis? Does Kim play the rush? When he's won a big pot, he does seem to then want to play a lot of hands immediately afterwards.
I've noticed the same thing. It could be just that a very small sample size that we happen to pick up on, but
Yeah, no,
I spotted it earlier.
yeah, I think that's a fair observation from what we've seen. I think Kim also understands the dynamic here, being one of the big stacks against one of the shorter ones, that he is going to be able to play these spots post-flop a little bit more liberally. And he is not loving it, but he makes the call on the turn. The river is a jack. He picks up 2 pairs.
Oh.
That is very unfortunate. Alexandritis might absolutely have. I mean, this is a spot where you could definitely.
You have to value bet this.
You could consider value betting this, absolutely. I mean, the only thing that might slow him down is the fact that Kim can have plenty of Jack X combos that were straight draws on the turn, or 2 overcards and a gut shot, that kind of a thing. Maybe a hand like Queen Jack. But I
Pretty
fully,
narrow range.
yeah, I fully appreciate that he's going to try and value bet here because he can still get called by all the weaker pairs. Some weaker 10x that doesn't have as good of a kicker.
I 4 million more. 4 million.
4 million more?
4 million more.
Can we just go ahead and round up and call that a 10x raise?
And
Oh, 1.4 million more.
oh. I swear I heard 4 million
That's
more.
what I thought
Oh,
he
maybe it
said.
said a million more. Right? That's what it looks like. You said a full million more? Maybe.
Whichever works. You know, it's all good.
They seem to have heard him perfectly. That's all that matters.
Sorry, how much? He goes, I don't know. Which one are you going to call?
I do love that sort of banter in cash games where you're like, how much will you call? And they're like 40, and you bet 40, and they're like, call.
You want me to call or not?
Two time card played already.
Maybe bluff, maybe with him.
I think you don't bluff now.
And Alexandridis folds, showing he had a 10.
I think you don't bluff.
Yeah, look, here you go.
And
Nice
Gab
one.
Yong Kim consolidates his chip lead.
C10 call.
Yeah.
One check.
King 5 against Queen 6, blind v blind.
C1, C10 check. C1 check.
Ooh, okay. Little top pair checkeroni.
C10 check. C1 bet 300.
He decides he wants to bet his top pair now. 300,000. So about half pot there. Just under. Just over, I should say, excuse me.
C10 call.
Okay, King 5 is going to come along. No improver, though.
No, so top pair still good for Kim.
C10 check.
Nine.
C1 bet 900,000.
900,000 the bet from Kim.
Wow, pretty chunky. He was quite deceptive on this flop, James. He did check behind with the top pair, which is a somewhat unconventional line at this level.
Pin.
10 call.
Wow, heroes with the 5, loses to the Queen.
It was 9, right?
And an additional 1.4 million chips. Queen Jack.
Yeah, you know, I love these blindy blind spots, James. These are things that we have to contend with a lot when you're playing a lot of heads up and three-handed games like myself. So seeing how these guys are going to approach these ever so tricky scenarios so more frequently as we get down to 4-3 handed is really a privilege, and it's exciting to see how these guys are approaching these.
So Duthie flopping best here, pairing his 4. Action goes check, check, and now Alexandridis takes the lead with that jack on the turn.
It's tricky. Duthie really shouldn't be giving up here too often, but he doesn't have a ton invested either. It was played quite passively pre. I think because he didn't bet the flop, he should probably always bet a call the turn, excuse me,
Yeah.
because again, your opponent has the opportunity to bluff and also can have plenty of straight draws and flush draws on this turn that you're still ahead of. The deuce of clubs is a brick. This actually might be the kind of river, James, where the jack gets paid off. Because if you think your opponent does have some flush draws, does have some straight draws on the turn, they've pretty much all missed except for some very specific low straight draws here. So he might be tempted to call once more, and I don't think it would be that out of the question because basically your opponent is going to have maybe a 10, but they might have bet that on the flop, definitely a jack, but then a whole bunch of other stuff that you're still beating. So on balance, I don't think it would be that crazy, even though it is basically second pair on the river. Yep, does make the call. Not surprised to see that, and I do think that call will actually probably win him money overall. Just unfortunate his opponent does actually have the top pair, that strongest part of that range that I was just describing.
Cortolazzi's got the snowmans. Num num.
Wait, you mean he's not all in?
Nope, just calling. Okay, Alexandridis has, in terms of chips I mean, not necessarily in terms of whole cards.
Oh.
6.2. Yep. He's moved ahead of Duthie.
Just edged ahead of him. Yeah, I thought so.
The Polish qualifier is now officially the shortest stack with 4 players remaining. That could change, though, after this hand as we go 3-way to the flop, which is 9-4-3, and that means 8s are still good.
$1 million.
One raise, 1 million.
Kim has decided to raise with King 10.
So was it a lead and a raise, or was it a bet? Was it a check raise and then a raise? It's a lot of money in the middle.
10 seconds.
Yeah, it was a lead from Cortolazzi.
Yeah.
And then Kim who was the pre-flop aggressor, has decided to raise with just king high. Cortellazzi know of knowing that he's actually a 3-1 favorite here, but
it's so hard to play from out of position with these eights. I think Kim recognizes that the lead is going to be a lot of hands that just want to end the pot right now and not necessarily something super strong that wants to continue. I think in a multi-way pot, though, it's not unreasonable for Cortellazzi to lead some sets here. But it is going to work. Kim applying the pressure, taking it down.
ooh.
Like that a lot. Let's go poker. These guys just don't bluff, James. That's the thing. I've been watching this final table, and they just don't bluff, except for when they do.
Ace-jack for Glovny under the gun.
Got about 20 big blinds here.
Makes it 400,000, and we've got ace-king for Kim.
Uh-oh.
Like this.
James, this is so cruel. At this stage, Kim in particular has been 3-betting him very, very aggressively, and I think that's what we're going to see here every time.
1.2 million, and we might see an all-in here.
Nope, sixes in the bin. Has he had enough of Kim's nonsense? We saw him defending that jack-8 suited a moment ago. He could just 4-bet jam, James.
Playing a time bank card, buying an additional 30 seconds thinking time.
Glovny's been playing it pretty cool so far, but he looked a little bit nervous there. He's gonna put it in, James. He's gonna do it.
All in.
He is all in, and Kim calls, and we have a domination situation. Kim with the best hand. Glovny, the at-risk player, he's behind.
Wait. 아직 오픈을 안 했어. 오픈을 안 했다고.
And there is a 70% chance that Glovny, the player who refused to even consider the deal numbers, is going to go out in fourth place.
Fourth place currently paying 320,900 euros. Nothing to sniff at, but this is a huge moment. Make no mistake about it.
Glovny's had a torrid time since the start of this level. In fact, since losing the chip lead to Gabyon Kim, his stacks has gone down and down and down. The flop has a jack on it.
Holy shit.
Domination rotation, and now Glovny set for a double up.
On time. Hammer, king, or queen is good. Yeah, spade is good. Spade
Well, the
almost
deuce
spade.
of spades is a good card for Kim. Glovny now has to fade kings and
Yeah,
spades.
spade. Black.
Look.
The river card
No.
is another jack, and it is a double up for Glovny. He survives and is back in contention.
Oh, wow, what a reversal. Glovny, who denied the deal not that long ago, dwindling down to just 20 big blinds and gets the full double, back up to 9.4 million. There's a lot more play left in this tournament, James.
And he's
400.
almost tied at the top with Kim now.
That's it.
Unlucky.
Oh, when you want to run good, this is where you want to do it.
It's okay. Good timing. Shovel.
Okay, so while the players are on break, they're going to verify the chip counts. Toby's got his trusty laptop, so he'll run the numbers again.
Okay.
And Toby Stone and Elise will work out the numbers, and I guess the players will review them, and then we'll see where we're at. These are the stacks as we see them. Everyone now playing fewer than 50 big blinds. It's going to be shallower once we get to 125, 250. That's another incentive, actually, in all seriousness, to look at the numbers one more time. So when we come back from break, they'll crunch the numbers. They'll look at whether they want to do a deal again, and then we will play poker and continue to play down to a winner here in Prague on the PokerStars European Poker Tour.